Phoenix_fire asks,
now I want to know about sexuality in Korea. And she's not the only person who wants to know about it because you got 400 thumbs up for that question. I think that's the most thumbs up we've ever received for a question.
403. So we're going to be foreigners here and be very open about a subject that's not very open in Korea.
And we're also only going to be telling you what people have told us about the subject because we ourselves haven't had sex with Korean people. So we can't really speak on first-term experience.
And we're really only talking about experiences from our friends. So talking about sexuality with my girlfriends is kind of an awkward subject because in Canada, you might ask your friends like, oh, did you kiss yet? Like, what base did you get to? And
what base did you get to? What
yes.
is this, like grade 6?
There's nothing wrong with bases. It's a perfectly good way to describe your sexual fartherness. First base is hand holding, maybe some touching. Second base is kissing. And third, groping maybe. Third base is really groping and stuff. And then home run is sexy times. Doesn't anyone else use that? I still use bases.
Like I have friends just like, did you yet?
You can't say that word. It sounds
that's
like a
gonna
sheep.
beep it out.
Anyways, so my girlfriends and I might giggle and talk about stuff like that, but in Korea, unless you're very, 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 very close with your girlfriend, you don't really talk about it that much, and it might be on a not very detailed.
Did you boom boom the jiggity jiggity? Yes, no. Wink twice if you did yes.
I want to give an easy example about sex and sexuality not coming up a lot. So in university, that's like the time period in Canada where you're gonna have sexuality pushed on you the most, in the sense of you need to use protection. Do you know what kind of STDs you can get? You could have sex and die. Here's lube. Here are all the birth control pills you should be on. Like, it's very much talked about because they assume that people are starting to have sex at this age. But in Korea, there's no talk about this. Like, there are no bags of condoms like nailed onto the dorm room.
What kind of college did you go to? My college didn't have bags of condoms everywhere.
I didn't go to a dorm. I lived at home with my parents in my basement. So I didn't experience that. But I've heard that my friends that were in dorms had like here's the communal condom bag that people should take condoms from. And if you go to like the doctor in your university, she'll say to you like, are you sexually active? Are you on birth control? Here are birth controls you should be on. And girls to openly talk about it. You're like, what kind of birth control are you on? I'm on this kind, I'm on that kind. But in Korea, my Korean friends said that they don't know anybody on birth control.
That's weird. Why won't people be on birth control here?
No, I mean, I think birth control can be different things. It could be for like acne or cramps, or it could be for sex, but I think
or for controlling birth, hence the name birth control.
But if you go on birth control for sex, you have to be thinking that you're going to have sex. Sex either randomly or sex with your sex on the beach. What's that song?
You know what? This conversation is becoming those awkward conversations that you have with your parents that everyone's behind the computer right now. Stopping the phone, like, why am I watching this? Please stop, please.
Listen, when a girl and a boy like each other.
Oh man, I feel awkward for you people watching this.
These are the ovaries. All I'm saying is that people don't talk about sex if you're a girl in Korea. But guys are like, hey, how about that girl that we met at that massage parlor last night? Looking at you, Seven. Okay, now when I was teaching at an all-girls high school, I remember something that really stood out in my mind. Besides showing Neurotic to them, which went over very badly.
And their ovaries exploded simultaneously.
No, I showed them Twilight, and there's a scene in the very first Twilight where Edward is in the woods with Kristen Stewart. Why can't I remember her actual Twilight name?
Alligator.
I don't know. Yeah. And he goes like this up to her like this, and everyone like screamed in the class. And my students were definitely like 17, and that kind of like close proximity face mushing was very much like that kind of excitement, because I had like 2 students that had boyfriends. Out of like all my 13 classes of like 40 students, 2 of them had boyfriends. And I never see teenagers making out in Korea. Have you noticed?
I haven't seen teenagers making out in Korea, but I know that in Hongdae, like in the area that we're in,
college area.
In the college area, in the club district, you do see people on like a Friday and Saturday night getting drunk and making out. There's even
our stairwell is like the makeout stairwell.
Because it's all dark and sexy right by the toilets where you can smell everything. I remember we were walking through Hongdae, and there was this coffee shop that instead of like you go upstairs, it was like pointing downstairs.
So you could look down.
You could look down from the street, and you could see like the people in the coffee shop. And it was pretty late at night, and there was this like one guy really trying to make out with this girl. He's like over the table, like all like this, like all up in her face and whatnot, and like really trying to like touch her and grab her and whatnot. And I remember standing outside the window with our friend Ryan, like, let's see if we can make them uncomfortable.
And we stood there,
so we just stood there and stared at them until the girl finally looked over and backed away. And then they give them a thumb up. Us foreigners approve of your getting jiggity with it. We don't want to make this seem like this is a hedonistic cesspool in which like there are orgies happening in the streets, but we have noticed people
will make out. It's not like
public.
Korean people.
And not in slow motion with cameras panning around them with 3-time replays and none of that. It was just like people kiss each other.
True.
If you want to take it to the next level after you're done your kissing, you can
Is the next level playing Twister?
No, next level is having sex.
Oh.
And if you want to do that, then you could go to love motels in Korea. And these are pretty interesting institutions that you have there. They're actual motels, which are pretty much known for if you want to have sexy time. So you could rent them you could even rent them by the hour, depending on how efficient you are with your time. If you're like, 5 minutes is all I need, son.
You can rent it by the hour, you can rent it by the day, and it's not something where you usually go to and you spend like a week there. Like there's not going to be a breakfast place or like a concierge.
No.
I can't say that word.
You're
or like
going there because you mean to have sex, and it's like the windows are tinted. They're even like if you drive up there, then they have these like little like
tassels?
dangling tassels so that you can't see the driver's faces as they're going in.
Or like the people that get out of the car, you can't see them.
And you could even because we went to some a couple times when we were traveling around Korea for traveling purposes.
Yeah, but I'd like to add here that there are love motels that people go to actually stay in because it's cheap. So if you're coming to Korea and you don't want to go to a hostel and you don't want to go to like the Hilton, you can go to a love motel. It's got a bed and a bathtub and mood lighting.
You might know this love motel because we've seen some vending machines in which you could purchase dildai.
That's pluralization of dildo. And condoms and like lube. And so
it all there.
We didn't know in our first year that these were love motels until we walked down the hallway and we were like, I am suspicious.
If you are dating a Korean guy, there are more smooth and subtle pickup lines. Like, for example, they will say, remember this, ladies, if a Korean guy asks you if you want to go on a day trip, it doesn't mean that he wants to go camping, but it means that he might be pitching a tent somewhere else.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what you
mean. I don't have any money.
It's a euphemism for let's go somewhere
and have a sexy trip.
That's right.
It could be a day trip
to
a location, and then there could be a love motel there as well. Eyebrow raising. Can anyone see your eyebrows?
We're going to talk a lot more about the why of love motels and the whole interestingness behind them in our blog post. So click on the link here if you want to check that out and learn more about it.
Yes, love motels. I think we've been to like 3. One of them had a really soft foamy mattress. And the other one I was scared to use the hot tub. I'm like, I don't know what's happened in here.
All I know is that if CSI came up in there with the black lights, it would be like a disco. Do, 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 do. Boo, boo, boo.
Yep, Steven.
Yep, there is Steven. So that's it for this week's TLDR. If you have a question for next TLDR, leave your question in the comment section below.
Or check out the questions already asked and you can thumb them up to get them to our attention.
And don't forget to subscribe for more TLDRs where we talk about nasty sexuality.
Sexual seduction.
Ooh. Ask us about starfish.
Tell me what you want.
Hey, hey, hey. Tell me, do you want me? Oh, no, no.
Speaking of sexy, you know what's sexy?
Ooh, is it fundraising?
It is fundraising.
Oh,
ooh, and this Saturday, July 6th, 2013, we're going to be doing some sexy fundraising in Itaewon.
From 7 to 10 p.m. this Saturday in Boton Cafe in Itaewon, we're going to be helping Liberty North Korea, which is a NGO that helps North Korean refugees.
They're renting out a photo booth, and so for a small donation, you can come out and you can take pictures with us in the photo booth. Or if you don't really like us or care about us, you can just take photos with your friends. That's cool, man. The goal is to raise donations.
It's all for a very good cause.
Yes.
I think it's really worth it. We're putting ourselves behind it. We hope that you could come out as well and help support the cause.
And we're going to include a link here that you can click on, and it'll give you more information on how to get there.
So make sure you check it out. We'd love to see you there this Saturday.
Yes.